Hey guys, this is Amanda. We're going to get started on your oracle reading here. I have no idea what the message is going to be about. I just grabbed the decks that I gravitated towards at the time that I felt like the collective needed right now. So as always, drop into your heart space, let the dust spiritually, physically, and emotionally settle around and within you so that you can determine which messages are for you and which messages are for others. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for casting your light of protection around us in the space at this time. Thank you, spirit guides, angels, for helping come through so that we can channel the highest healing, loving light for the collective. And take a deep breath with me. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right. There's definitely a strong focus on like relying on your own personal power. That's usually when I grab this deck, is when I gravitate towards the Work Your Light Oracle. Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell. I tend to go for this deck whenever there's a question of calling back your personal power, how you can rise. I feel like we need 2 from there. I'm going to pull some oracle cards first. Feel free to jump ahead a little bit because I'm going to pull the cards first before I start talking about anything. Okay. We're actually going to start talking immediately because the 3rd house has been coming up quite a lot in the past few readings that I've done over the last few days. You have Saturn, Virgo, and the 3rd house on your astro dice. This is the 3rd house has to deal with communication. So communication has been coming up. I actually didn't get a chance to look at the astrology. So obviously these readings are timeless too. So whether you're coming to this when it's posted or whether you're coming to this later, it doesn't really matter. The intention is for that whoever comes to this video, whatever time message, could resonate with you. It could be in astrology right now. What's going on is on like the energy that's been coming through with this communication is watching the words that we speak, because the energy, like the words are energy, right? Words are spells is what people like to say in the spiritual community. I've heard that quite a few times, and I really just can't agree more, because it's not just the words that we say, that it's our voice is power for us, right? So some people might feel like their voice doesn't really do anything in the world, but in all actuality, it influences our thoughts. And that influencing our thoughts and our feelings about ourselves, and it projects what we feel about ourselves onto others. So, like, if we're speaking our words, it does affect other people as well, because they're intaking that and they're forming opinions and beliefs about, like, some of the things that we say. So we hold the power, though, in terms of what we say, because our belief, what really matters is our internal belief. So when we speak those words, it can reflect our own perspective. So I actually think of thoughts, beliefs, opinions, anything that has to do with words and communication involved in the 3rd house. It's not quite the spiraling or the dealings with the mind, but it certainly, like, communication does help cultivate a healthy mind space, which is what I would put in this house, this category. Virgo talks about the balance of energies, so like the self-care, and it's almost like with Saturn being the disciplinary planet, of needing to make sure that you have the appropriate boundaries. This is making sure that you are with Saturn and Virgo, this is making sure that you are disciplined and making sure that you are taking care of the thoughts that come through your mind. Make sure that the words that you're saying to yourself are healthy, Make sure the words that you are speaking onto others in your mind is healthy. Like, is it, the thing that's coming to mind is it nice? Is it true? I forgot the other thing. 'Cause they say it's kind of a rule. The only thing that's the only two things that are coming through right now is it nice? Is it true? Um, Shush. I hear them. I have my dog next to me. He's by the window. He wants to alert me when things are passing. He's a good boy, but you don't have to. It's okay. Yes. There's usually a third one that they teach little kids, and I can't remember what it is right now, so I'm guessing those are the only two that are important right now. Is it true and is it accurate? The things that you're saying to yourself or the things that you're saying about others, make sure that you are not kind of poisoning yourself, and poisoning yourself, like in terms of like the things that you're saying in your mind, right? Because it's the thoughts that we hear that form our beliefs about ourselves. There are certain patterns that are happening. I'm getting it's like patterns on repeat. I'm getting like somebody who's turning a stone over and over and over again, and I typically get that when somebody's overthinking. So maybe you could be somebody who takes a situation and you just turn it over and over and over, and it doesn't seem to stop. And that's totally understandable. We all do that to some degree. But after a certain point, that could be unhealthy because sometimes our thoughts could spiral that way. Right? Let's see what your oracle cards have to say, and then we're going to pull some tarot here for you. I can't help but feel like I'm going to pull a lot of cards for you guys today. Okay, so talking about words and communication, we have Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. This is also trusting yourself. This is a big big energy on trusting yourself. I feel like you are also a psychic intuitive. I believe that we all some type of level of psychic, but your guides, your angels, whatever spirit beings you work with, they walk with you throughout your day. So I'm actually seeing that, like, I'm hearing like you're complaining. There's like some of you could be complaining. Like I'm gonna have to just channel it how it's coming through. Some of you are like you're complaining, but that's not what I see, is what they're saying. So it's like they walk with you, and it's like they're wanting you to change your perspective, because it's almost like when you put out some complaints about either yourself or your life, it blocks yourself from seeing. It's almost like visors, like that block the vision of the blessings that Spirit's actually sprinkling on your path. So there are things that you're actually missing because you're focused on what's not working rather than what is working, right? You also have align your life, what is not aligned or needs to change. So actually what I'm getting is that, well, that message doesn't seem to be done. When they're walking with you, they are actively putting things, like if you are walking in the moment, you're being present, you're being positive, you're feeling uplifted. Like it's almost like you have to tune into their support, because if you tune in, you can feel it next to you. You can feel them walk next to you. So you'll know when you see something in your life that is them, because they'll have a thought like, oh, this was a gift, or this was given to me. And you'll see it with repeating numbers. So repeating numbers could be a confirmation for you. So actually I started this reading and I didn't mean to. I was having some camera trouble trying to get this to load up, but 555. It's 5:55 when I started filming. I know, in the morning, like I'm an early bird. So 5:55, fives could be your number, also threes. Repeating threes and repeating fives is coming through. 7 is also coming through as well. Also, like some other straight numbers for it. 3 and 5 are the main ones, though. 3 and 5 are the main ones. Align your life. What is not aligned or what needs to change? So what makes you feel at your best, and what is making you not feel so good? So I believe in the power of transmuting energy around us too, because sometimes we're working with energies that we can't, like, realistically speaking, we can't quite get out of. Or it's like we can get out of things, but it might not be in our long-term best interest here in the physical to leave. So like, let's say that you are in I think the easiest example I can come up with is a job, right? So let's say you're in a job that, is paying you well, gets you all the benefits, perfect location, everything like that. But your, maybe your coworkers are like a little toxic or something, right? But transmuting the energy is, yes, you can look for a different job. I'm hearing like look for a different place, but there is a certain level of detachment that you can attain from being there. There are still some things that you can learn while you're there. It's not a complete and total waste of your time to stay just because it's a little bit out of alignment. So it's almost like you're transmuting the energy a little bit, because you might find that it could lead you into some form of alignment, or it could cause you to take the steps to either, I don't know, I'm hearing like get out of it. But in the meantime, you don't have to, staying doesn't mean you're out of alignment. The rest of the world does not determine whether you are aligned or not. That all comes from within. So don't let your external circumstances determine how you feel in your body. I know it's very hard. Like, the environment is a tool. The environment is a tool in co-creation. It doesn't always have to look the way that we want it to look in order to manifest the things that we want. And that's actually very hard for me to channel, because that is something that I am still learning. So I wish I could have more details for you, but I'm hearing specifically that your guides will walk with you. Your guides will help you with this. Okay. Take a sip of my coffee. Maybe in future readings I'll have more information for you, but that is also something that I am learning too. So woohoo, go spiritual learning team. Okay. So we got some. Okay. Let me roll the dice on this again, because this talks about communication, and I want to see what specifically this one is talking about, because we have a very particular theme coming up here, and I could see what we channel through here. Neptune, Scorpio, 5th house. Okay, so I kind of shed some light. The 5th house is fun, passion, creativity. Scorpio is about fears. Neptune is illusions. Okay, so again, things echoing back to us that might echo, like some of you could be spiraling into a little bit of fear here, or we could be dreaming of some fears in relation to things that should actually be a little bit of fun. So you have loyal heart. Loyal heart talks about either a relationship or friendships, or things that have shown loyalty to you, or things that have been consistently there for you that you may be. It's interesting because in the realm of communication, it's actually what's being questioned. So this could be some of the things, like maybe you are questioning some of the things that have actually shown loyalty to you, or you're starting to doubt certain things in your life that have been steadily and consistently there for you. And a good way to see this, or a good way to see if maybe you're approaching something with scrutiny or with criticism that might not be warranted, is to step back and meditate. So this is all understandable from a spirit perspective, and I'm hearing like, we understand your suffering, or we understand your pain, but we want you to take a step back and meditate. We want you to hold the space for yourself. Hold the space. I'm hearing like holding the space for others might be a little hard if you're not holding the space for yourself. So taking a step back, meditating, being in the here and now. So it's almost like they're showing, so like I'm seeing you walk into a space or a situation, or like in the relationship with another person, you're walking into a space with a clean slate. So you're getting kind of like a clean slate. You're entering the conversation with almost kind of like a fresh view or a fresh perspective, because in this meditation, or like what you will soon come to realize when you kind of step into the situation with a clean slate, is there's a feeling of abandonment that's coming from you, or there's a feeling of, I don't want to say like full on like a woe is me type of energy, but like there is some unhealthy patterns coming from you that might be reflecting, it might be overshadowing how you approach the world and how you handle the world. So, and this actually shows up also in like blessings too. So not only does this seem like it offers a little bit more clarity into how to approach the situation and what to do, but the blessing here is that you do have loyalty. You do have loyalty that is being shown to you. The gift of the present, I always say, like, you know, like that's like a common thing, that's common saying too, is like the present is a gift. So the present is very much a gift, because that's where you can truly live, right? And this orphan card being it's like the growth, and I'm hearing like that's a symbol. So there's also like you've grown a lot, so look back at how far you've come, acknowledge the growth that you've achieved, because I feel like some of you know that this is a thing. Some of you know what pattern I'm talking about when I pull up this card, and you've done some work on it before. It's okay to revisit the same pattern and the same thing over and over again. I don't think cycles are bad, because cycles indicate growth. You are never returning to the same cycle with the same eyes every single time. There is a reason cycles, like there's a reason why that is a card in a multitude of decks. People say like, oh, cycles are bad, we have to break the cycle, and these cycles are not bad, because like, just like in children, when you teach children, you need repetition in order for them to fully understand, you know, what they're learning, right? And in order to teach something, you need to know the material 5 times better than the student. So you need repetition. You need to study something multiple times. You need to revisit things multiple times in order to learn. Being in a cycle is not necessarily bad, because you are stepping up in a different way. You are showing up in a different way every single time, right? So you also have compass and follow the leader. So you have compass, coming back to your true north. And again, I actually see you like stepping into alignment. That's what this card is talking about. Stepping into alignment here. And sometimes it seems like we're a little bit off our way, or sometimes it seems like we're going on some spiritual detours, but we do come back. And as it turns out, we realize in hindsight that was part of the path all along, because there was this seeming like it was a side quest. I'm hearing spirit say this almost feels like a side quest of sorts, where it seems like you're getting off track a little bit. It's not necessarily a side quest, because it's teaching you something about yourself, and that lesson is going to be like woven into like everything that you do in the future. It's going to be actually, I'm getting like, it's interesting because like this pillar of light, the word pillar is coming up again. Like it's going to be like a big cornerstone or a pillar of support. This growth is going to be a pillar of support for the future. You also have follow the leader. So I'm hearing like, you impress me. So I do feel like spirit is very impressed with you. Spirit also always has a lot of love for us, but it's almost like they're impressed by you. It's almost like you're stepping into a realm of leadership, if not now, then further down the line with the skills that you're learning now. So there's no shame in doing what other people do to help yourself get to alignment, because these cards are showing up at the same time. And these are kind of like, I view these as kind of like, it's interesting because the other ones I viewed as blessings, but they kind of arrived as next steps. This is also adding some layers to the next steps. That's kind of the intentions that I set with these cards. So, leading back to your true north and seeing what other people do to get back to their true north, and then just follow through with what they do. So if you read that somebody is like, doing a salt bath to cleanse, even if you've never done it before, try something new, try it and see if that works for you. Maybe you need something more physical rather than like a spiritual, like a meditation or something. Maybe you need something in the physical to help ground you and move forward. Maybe like drawing or painting. There's like some type of like medium thing that like for some of you that you might need. Artists, usually painting is like my symbol for just artists in general. That could be writers, artists, actors, things like that. Whatever your craft is, to indulge in that craft, because that could be very grounding for you and help bring you back into feeling like yourself in alignment, so you can start speaking in a healthy way, so you can start recognizing these patterns that you can work your way out of. And journaling is very, very useful for this. And it's interesting too that we started off the reading with 555, like I started at 555, and the coming back to your true north is 50, but also orphaned is the number 5 card. So we do have a few 5s coming up here, so again, that could be still like a special number. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check the battery on the camera, see if we can keep going here. Okay. Camera's good. I had to make sure that it was still, sometimes it goes, and some of my cameras like drain faster than they charge when I record for some reason. I was like, yeah, this one's Gucci. All right, so continuing on, I would love to get into some tarot here with you, just to see the specifics of what it is we're working with. I think the Oracle kind of gave us a pretty good picture, but I want to see if there's anything else. Ooh, hello. That makes so much sense. Okay. So yeah. Let me pull the rest of this first. Okay, this makes perfect sense to me. For some of you, this is a new job. For some of you, that like working into alignment means leaving what you currently have, or I'm hearing like leaving what you own behind. There's something about like owning something, or or feeling like you have a strong place in something, or you're like very set or cemented in a place, and then being like, okay, well, I'm going to pull away from that. It's almost like some of you, if this is a job or if this is something you're walking away from, it's almost like you formed part of your identity around it. So interesting, very interesting. So the situation here is the Nine of Swords. So this is like a lot of fears. And again, like fears, especially in the swords are belief, words, thoughts. And I'm hearing like this is all consuming. For some of you, you're obsessing over this. You're obsessing over some of these. I'm hearing like this is a character trait for you. This could be something that it's got, like, this is your own pattern that they want to address of like viewing things in a negative way. We can talk about transmuting. I do feel called to do a reading about that. That'll probably be the next one that I post after this one, about how to transmute the energy of the now to go into more alignment, because that feels important here, but I feel like there's more to that message. So if you're interested, keep an eye out for that. But in this case, there's like, there is like something to work through here. I do feel like this is kind of a stalled type of time, like where you have to step back and kind of journal, meditate, kind of do those reconnecting practices. And again, for some of you, it's more physical than it is spiritual. So meditate, like some of you might need something a little bit more concrete or more active. Some of you go out jogging in nature, that's coming up too, or like going for a walk. There's something of like, but there's something about the act of running. I'm getting running for somebody. So going out and running, it's going to be pretty important for like clearing your head, because there's something about like the meditative part of it. The challenge, so it's interesting because of the Nine of Swords. Again, we talk about fears. It's being in your fears, obsessive in your head. The challenge here is the Four of Wands, which is the happy home, happy life, happy family card. So it's interesting that the challenge would be happiness or stability or feeling stable or feeling at peace. I'm hearing like you're at war with yourself. So the challenge is finding, like, coming back from that and feeling at peace. What's coming up from within is judgment. So I'm hearing like you need to make the call. That's what's coming up is the need, like feeling like you need to make the call. And I do want to say that we always have a choice, right? So judgment is rising to the occasion, but it's not the end of the world if you don't. And I only say this from maybe this is Amanda speaking and not quite channeling. Because like the goal would obviously be to stand in your own power and to make empowered good choices for you. But we also have to juggle being in the physical as well. So sometimes we can't always make the call immediately. I feel like people often have more excuses than not, and they stall their feet and they drag their feet. But some of you have been listening to your intuition for a long time. Like it's been kind of pecking at you for a while. Not a woodpecker, because they go da, 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 but it almost feels like a tiny little peck from a beak. And it feels like it's been slowly over time. I'm hearing like once every few months, then once every month, and now it's like every other day. In the past, you have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is intuition. You've gotten intuitive hits. You might have seen a lot of signs and synchronicities that would lead you to want to make this judgment call, basically, and say like, do I pull the plug on this or not? Do I walk away? Or like something needs to change. There's like this energy of something needs to change. I am going to say again, not again, because I don't think I fully talked about this, but in terms of transmuting the energy, because it doesn't fully have to look like making a clean break and walking away from something. You can revisit the cycle again, because it's almost like something needs to occur a few more times before you are fully able to let it go. But that's showing up and doing the work. That's what it's called. Cycles are showing up, doing the work. That's what it is, right? So long as you address it this time around, you are answering the call. Answering the call doesn't have to look dramatic. It doesn't have to look like you are completely cutting something out, walking away, because there's, and I see pentacles in this reading. I see some pentacles here and there. So I just want to say that if like finances are involved, like don't throw your whole financial situation down the drain and make it awful just because like, oh, I have to quit this job right now. Please take responsibility for your own choices, but also sometimes spiritually we know what we have to do, but we have to get the physical in order before we follow through on the spiritual. Okay, so making sure that everything is in balance. So it's funny that I say balance though, because the focus is the Six of Pentacles. How do you tip the scales back to being balanced, right? Because the Six of Pentacles is all about the exchange of energy. What are you giving? What are you getting back in return? This is all about the exchange of energy, and it's also recognizing where you have misplaced energy in the past. That is what the focus here is on. So again, I'm seeing this as more of a reflective time, but in this case, answering the call is approaching this reflection and actually turning the eye to yourself and saying, how am I spending my energy? What am I getting back from it? And what thoughts are happening as a consequence of where my energy is going, which we are responsible for our own energy. We need to take ownership and accountability for the energy that we're putting out, and then not necessarily the energy that like we can like detach from the energy that's coming in. It can't always be like a barrier, can't always be stopped, right? But we are the masters of our own energy. So I do think that for somebody who is spiritual and intuitive, you could be an empath, and it could be very hard for you to unplug. Just because you're an empath doesn't mean that, like, yeah, boundaries are hard for you, but the thing is, I'm always like really careful, trying to be very careful about labels. What's called in your future is the Hanged Man, which is a different perspective. It is a shift in perspective. And I do think that those types of things are important, especially when we identify as somebody who is highly sensitive, who is an empath, because in those definitions, yes, you can say in those definitions, it is hard for me. And you could tell people by default, like, oh, I'm an empath or I'm a HSP. So it's hard for me to separate my feelings from other people's. That does not have to be your story. That is a superpower. But when you allow yourself to be identified by the labels, I want to say weaknesses, because it can be a powerful thing and you can spin it in a powerful way. Like there is a powerful thing about being an empath. You can connect with people a lot more deeply. You can understand them a lot better. You can anticipate things. You can take a step forward and protect yourself because you're knowing what to anticipate. You know when to pull back and withdraw. So there's like, you can help so many people with this, but you need to learn to control it. And that's like, this is one of the things you can change your perspective on. Yes, I'm sensitive, but I don't have to be at the mercy of everybody else's energy. So whatever practices you have to do, you can change it's like changing your perspective or your outlook. It's not completely and totally bad, some of this stuff. So don't be too critical of yourself. But keep a balanced perspective. That Six of Pentacles is calling for a rebalancing of sorts. So trying not to put too much of a negative spin or too much criticism energy on either you or other parties, right? It's that balanced perspective, and that's kind of the shift that you're being called to make. You make sure you're not giving yourself enough grace to where you're like, I am not to blame at all. Like, look at yourself as, okay, maybe it's my mentality that could be part of the problem. But it could be like, but this is like, it's all about honing your power. I wouldn't even call it a problem. I would say that, how do I hone my power? How do I focus my energy to where I can actually handle what life throws at me? That's kind of what we're approaching. How do I make myself stronger in that regard? Right? So the you position, the Ace of Pentacles, this is talking about a new financial opportunity. You could be presented with a new financial opportunity at this time. This could be a new material beginning for you. I also consider spirituality as the Pentacles too. So could be a new spiritual beginning for you. Some of you, this is sort of like an awakening of sorts, or like a spiritual, I want to call it like leveling up. I want to put that in quotes, because it's almost like you're learning something huge here. This is like a big energy that we're working with here. When we're falling into when we're stepping into alignment, not falling into, when we're stepping, some of you might actually feel like you're falling into alignment, though, the way that I said it came out like that for a reason. Some of you, I feel like you're kind of stumbling in here. It wasn't really intentional. It's just something you realized and you're like, oh snap, I got to deal with this because it just popped up, But for some of you, it could be like some of you are seeking a new financial opportunity, and that is what it is, right? That is physically what the card means. For some of you, that's what you're looking for, or you're seeking a new opportunity. For others of you, I'm not going to say wait for it to be presented. I feel like a lot of you have to go out and find it. But also for a lot of you, it could be just a new spiritual beginning if you are looking to remake what you currently have and transmute the energy of the now. For some people, it's just easier to just cut it and go like somewhere else, like is cut the situation and then go to a different place. Because you can't control other people, but you can control your own energy. But especially since your energy is the one that you're working with, I would say work with your own energy first, unless you feel called and you're like, okay, well, I have to step away. You know your situation best. So do what you feel. In your environment, you have the world. The possibilities are endless. So I feel like for a lot of you are like, going out and finding a new opportunity because the world is like having so many resources at your feet. I'm hearing like we are like at your I don't want to say at your disposal. That's kind of what they're saying though, or like dispense us as you need is what spirit is saying. So like ask for help, ask for signs and opportunities, and then see how they manifest in your life, right? Your hopes and your fears, the 10 of Cups, this is emotional fulfillment. So I'm hearing like you're wishing for something or you're wanting something to happen. There's like a wanting that emotional fulfillment, but at the same time fearing that you're not going to get it. And the outcome, it's almost like some of you could feel like you're stepping away from, like there are some aspects of what you're doing now or in this situation with this person, this job, whatever, that feels very fulfilling, and you're worried that stepping away, there's like a fear of stepping away or changing your perspective. There is a fear of changing it because you're afraid that there's like a fear that that fulfillment won't be there anymore, or that you're going to come further away from that fulfillment when you feel it's almost like this situation feels close to fulfillment, but it might not fully be fulfillment. But that almost feels like spirit's like, do the work on yourself first. Do the work on yourself. Do the work on yourself. Some of you, like, you have to do the work on yourself by leaving something or by walking away from something. But I'm also hearing spirit say, but not necessarily. So take a break for a little bit. Take a break and see, like, what the journaling brings up or what the meditative spaces bring up for you. And see how you can alchemize, work with that energy. The outcome is the 5 of Wands. So there are some conflicted feelings. There are some external forces. There are some forces outside of you. I don't know if it's like a partner or somebody close to you that might not fully agree with the decisions that you're making or might have a different perspective. So this is, I would say, if you look to other people for validation, this is probably something that you would want to undergo alone. Because this is almost like these things that are showing up for you, they're very loyal to you, they're very loving. And some of them, for some people, can put it into perspective for you. But I would say this is mainly, let me pull some cards here just to make sure, because this feels kind of like a journey of the self that you have to do. This is like a journey of the self. So having too many outside perspectives and opinions might actually just confuse you, because you have to listen to yourself first and foremost. Yeah, for some of you, actually, okay, some of you are actually making the choice to, like, do I cut it and go or what? The 2 of Swords is a choice. The Chariot is, needing to make that choice and actually follow through on it. Some of you have been thinking about making a certain choice for a while. And the 10 of Pentacles is, like, this is financial freedom. This is generational wealth. This is like the I have it all card. So the 10 of Pentacles is, I'm hearing like, enjoy your life. Like that also feels kind of like the 10 of Pentacles. It's like there is like a fulfillment of enjoying the material. The 10 of Pentacles is having it all materially. So for a lot of you, that's making just make the choice to step away, go on a vacation. Some of you might need a vacation. Go into the meditative space and see what energies do you have to cut away, because for some of you it is literally just cutting away certain beliefs and making the choice to cut away those certain beliefs so that way you can enjoy the material and financial wealth that you have now, or feeling like you have the freedom or even the gusto to follow your dreams. Some of you are kind of like in a situation that's only temporary because you want to do something else, and that's totally fine too, but it's almost like needing to make the cut, like needing to make the cut from the energies that make you antsy. Oh, there's my alarm. Let me go grab it because I have a few more cards and some dice to roll. Okay, some more cards because this reading is turning into a little bit long. You have grow. All flowers must grow through dirt. So understand that this is a growth process. Patience. Wait for the fruit to ripen. Growth does not happen overnight. So as with flowers, flowers must grow through dirt. It takes time. When I gardened, I was so impatient because I was like, where are my plants? Where are my plants? When are they going to germinate? It'll happen. Trust me. Rest, slow down. You don't have to solve everything today. This is going to be a slower process. I think is perfect. Grow, patience, and rest. So, again, pull back to yourself so that way you can actually assess what needs to be done next. Alchemize the energy around you first, and then look and say, okay, now that I have, kind of like sorted the energy in me and I have grown as a person, let me look at the situation around me and say, like, is this what I want? Or is this something that I can sustain? You also have 409. I'm going to pull from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray. And I always read these messages twice. Your higher self is always connected to God and angels. Know that you can connect with divine intelligence at all times. I'm hearing like they walk with you, like we mentioned earlier. One more time, your higher self is always connected to God and angels. Know that you can connect with divine intelligence at all times. So be present, be here in the now, so you can connect with that, and then like feel them walk with you so they can point out the blessings on the way. That being said, I hope this helped you. I do feel like this reading was a little bit longer, but there was a lot of interesting and underlying energies involved in this one, so I hope it helped. That being said, I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.